Today specifically, we're talking about our children's health. A couple of things to note. The CDC reports a third of our kids are overweight or obese. Then we have a study, kind of an offshoot of that, by the University of California, found that a third of parents of children who are obese or overweight basically don't recognize that. And we'll take your calls on that. 1-877-TEL-HLN is the number to help with some of those phone calls and give us some knowledge. Mark McDonald's back with us, our health guru, celebrity nutritionist, fitness expert, author of the book, Body Confidence. There it is. Give me your reaction first off to that. Does that surprise you that a third of parents, I guess the more I talk about it, the more it doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me.
The parents don't want to admit, they're going to come with excuses before they say, yeah, maybe my child's overweight.
Well, I think they want to protect their kids.
Yep.
And in essence, they're unaware, so maybe they realistically don't think. I remember when I went from 190 pounds to 250 pounds, I was on a pizza diet for 6 months. I looked in the mirror, and I thought I was all muscle still.
Right.
So part of it is just perception, and sometimes you need that wake-up call. So the study doesn't surprise me that much.
Okay, and I'm with you. I was the same way. When I beefed up to almost 200 pounds, I thought,
Mike.
I'm just big and strong. Not really. I was overweight at that point.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now you've got parents in there, and they may not want to admit it. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you maybe the parents, they need some education for themselves first before they can help their kids and a whole family change a way of life?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of parents are just, they're frustrated. They don't know what to do. So we know, like we hear, you got to eat healthier. But what does that mean? You have to exercise more? Yeah, but what happens when you have no time or you feel like you have no time? How do you make it work? So frustration sets in. They're not taking care of themselves. It's hard for them to tell their kids to take care of themselves when they're not taking care of themselves either.
Yeah, good point. 1-877-TEL-HLN is the number if you have a question for Mark on this. And again, we're not trying to upset parents out there, but it's like, what can we do to make sure our kids are healthy? And we're healthy as well. We kind of, because it starts at home, right?
Yeah, it all starts at home.
We set either we're setting a good example or not to start with.
So I've coached a lot of parent kids. And whenever a child comes to me, they succeed if the parents are leading by example. The parents do it with them. They don't succeed if the parents don't do it. I had a friend, and he was eating a big bag of chips, and he wants to drop about 60 pounds. His child comes to him and says, hey, can I have some chips? He said, no, you can't have this, but he's eating it. The hypocrisy there, we're not pointing fingers at people, but we have to be real with each other. When you tell someone no, but you're doing it, they don't understand that. So you have to do it together. It's about leading by example as a family.
Okay, you mentioned doing food together, and I know you also advocate exercising together as a family. Here's a question, though, from our producer, Annette, who says this: you want us to work out as a family, but my 10-year-old gets embarrassed and tells me she wants to be with her friends. What do you do then?
That's painful, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I think a couple things happen. If you raise your child and you're always exercising with them, you create those habits. The pushback comes when you haven't created those habits, and then they turn 10, and you're not active with them, and they want to do it with their friends. So what I told Annette was, you just got to earn it. You got to get in the game, just start exercising, whether she's with her friends, like at Sky Zone jumping on the trampolines, have Annette jump with some other people. And then eventually, as she's leading by example, as she's making her health work, her daughter will see that, and she's going to want to start working out with her.
So is it the same that Annette could go do her own thing, and her daughter sees that and sees, okay, maybe I do want in on this with Mom?
Kids want it to be fun, and they want to be with their parents. They just have to see that it's possible. And how do you do that? And she's looking at Annette in a particular way. Annette's got to change the view that her daughter has of her.
Got it. Here's another question. This is from Sandy on Facebook. And here's an interesting one. The more you tell a child, no, you cannot have that, the more they want it. Moderation is the word here. And that's kind of, first, go ahead and comment on that, and I got to follow up for you.
I hate when people tell me no. I mean, that's human nature, right? As a nutritionist, I never tell people no. It's not that you can't have it, you can. You have to learn how and when you can work it in from a moderate side. So I totally agree. You tell a child no, he's going to want it, or she's going to want it. You have to show how she can or he can't have it.
The offshoot of that is, and I know there's parents out there saying, wait a minute, my child is a child. They're a kid. They shouldn't have to watch what they eat. They can do that when they're an adult. You say what to that?
Well, if you have that philosophy, you're setting your child up to lose. Because the reality is this: you lay down those fat cells in adolescence. So if your child does not know how to eat now, and they develop those fat cells, you're setting them up to struggle with health risks and obesity for the rest of their life. So they have to learn, because candy tastes better. I love pizza. I love fried chicken. I tell you that I'd eat it every day. There's a cost to it. So you have to show your children how to do it. But see, Hunter loves Skittles, my son. So what I say, Hunter, if you want some Skittles, have some string cheese before it or some turkey jerky. So I'm allowing him to have the candy in moderation, but showing him a solution that's going to set him up to win.
Nice. Susan's on the phone from Arizona. Hey, Susan, your thoughts here?
Yeah, kudos for the topic. Very timely, and of course, well, all of America is suffering from this one.
Yeah.
What we have to realize as a psychologist, and I notice with all addictions, is that it's complicated. It's a complex disease, and as long as we use food as a source of reward and punishment, which we do in America because we're a land of plenty, children get mixed messages all the time. You know, reward yourself, have some ice cream, you deserve this break. And so we send a disingenuous message around food instead of just being fuel for the body. We've now luxuriated to a case where kids feel deprived if you go by McDonald's. And
there you go. Hey,
Susan, we bribe kids with food.
We appreciate the call. Interesting. What do you make of that? You agree with that?
I agree. I mean, she's spot on. Well said, Susan. We make food taste, and we create this entire environment around it. That food's an experience. You win a soccer match, you go eat. You win an award, or after play, you go eat. So we create this entire experience around it, and kids develop that behavior, where really food is to just feed our body and fuel us. But, you know, the reality is food tastes good.
It does.
And we need it to survive, so you can't just cut it out. So it's teaching people, when they want those rewards, what to do, and how do you do it realistically day to day so you can win with your health.
Okay, some more comments. This is from Nicole on Facebook. At my son's well child check, the pediatrician informed me my son was overweight. Everyone who I've talked to about it did not see that my son is overweight. Now, I'm not sure she's in denial or... Because let's be honest, a lot of people don't trust the numbers that you get from a doctor's office.
I agree.
A BMI number that may not be to scale with a child.
Well, if you have a lot of muscle mass, if you have a child who has muscle, then they might be on the chart overweight, but they don't have a lot of body fat. So my response is get your body fat levels checked. That's the most important thing. And then the reality is that if you feel your kid looks lean and they don't have excess body fat on them, then don't worry about the weight. But you know if someone's holding a little bit more extra body fat and then make the necessary adjustments.
What about to the parents that'll say, oh, it's just baby fat or they're big boned, when clearly that may not be the case? What do you tell them?
The big bone, it's not that big of a difference. If you really look at the bone, the skeletal structure, it's not going to be a huge weight difference. Baby fat is reality that people have that, but if you don't develop the right systems now, when they hit adolescence, that fat's not going away. You have to make sure that you're feeding them and creating the right rhythms for your body, your family to win.
That's the key. So what's one thing that can be done tonight? You've got, let's say there's a family out there, school started in a lot of parts of the country, and they're thinking, doggone it, we want to make a change here. What's one thing that can change right now?
Most important thing is you get a family meeting, and you get on the same page. If two people are doing one thing and two people do another thing, it will never work. So get on the same page, and then 3 simple things. Drink more water, cut the soda, and start walking at least 5 to 10 minutes a day as a family, and things will start to evolve.
There you go.